is 7-7 as the Cowboys stopped the Rams' attempt on a fourth down play. A very significant factor, I think, so far in this game. They held the Rams. They took the ball, drove down the field, and scored the tying touchdown.
You know, it's something that, you know, what that fourth down does. The fans always yell, you know, go for it, go for it, go for it. And, you know, if you do and you make it, it's great. But when you don't, it always seems to come back and haunt you. Remember, we were talking about it. Here's the play. Now, it was fourth down, so they tried a trick play. You know, they know that the whole defense was going to be keying on Dickerson. They did. He throws back right here to Hill. But I'll tell you, the guy who was really alert was Dennis Thurman. He didn't go for it, and this is what John Robinson felt.
There's another significant factor, I think, John, and you agree that if the Rams are going to be able to throw the ball in the second half, they're going to have to block that one particular blitz.
I think so, especially on the passing downs, and it'll probably get to that before this thing's over. 7-7 at halftime. I think in the fourth quarter we could see some type of shootout. Now, when you get in a shootout, the defense knows you're going to throw, so they're going to give you the pass defense, and I could see the Cowboys go into that 4-0. Now, every time they've done it so far, they've blitzed Dexter Clinkscale. The Rams have yet to pick him up, so I think it's very important at halftime that they talk about that and get that thing settled.
And I'm sure they have made some effort at making an adjustment at least. The half, 7-7, and it should be an exciting second half coming up. Still no rain, and the weather's not that bad. Lansford, who kicks extra points and field goals with a shoe off, kicks off with a shoe on. Lines it to the left. Ron Fellows watches it go out of bounds, and the Rams will have to do it from the 30-yard line instead of the 35. Comparative yards in the first half. Total of 156 for the Rams, 148 for Dallas, but only 28 yards on the ground for the Cowboys.
You know, it's funny that I really feel that the Cowboys get confidence from running, and they really didn't run very well, 28 yards in the first half. In fact, that's poor, but they got their confidence in another way. I think they got it when the Rams went for that fourth down. Didn't get it. They said, hey, we got some life here. Let's go.
Dickerson had a good first half, 12 carries, 70 yards. Dorsett, 8 times for 24, not up to his standards. Eric Dickerson over on the sideline. Those mittens he won't wear when he's carrying the ball, I don't think.
Now look, he got the towel, the mittens, the arm pads, the wrist tape, the whole doggone thing. I think anything that equipment man has, Eric Dickerson wants some of it.
This will be Fellows from the 12 or 13. Fellows out of the pack. Fellows to the 45, maybe 46. Lansford, the kicker, knocked him down. Good return by Fellows.
Sometimes you can really get a lot of life from your special teams. You know, the game, the thing, they have to set a pattern. Special teams, your return teams, they set patterns. You know, if you get down there and stop them inside the 20, it's a big play. But if you let them get out to midfield like Ron Fellows just did, that can give your whole team a lift.
So it's first down, Cowboys, their own 46. First play from scrimmage, second half, 7-7 tie. Drew Pearson in motion, and White fakes to Dorsett, now rolls out, chased by Youngblood. Gets the ball to Ron Springs and gets into Ram territory with a Dallas first down. Eric Harris knocked him out of bounds. 12-yard pickup, first down on Cowboy.
That was a good fake to the inside, and it's a bootleg. We watch this. Danny White is going to fake inside here to Tony Dorsett. Now he'll roll out here to the right. He gets out beyond Youngblood. He finds Ron Springs there. See, he had the linebacker in a bind. If the linebacker comes up to stop the run, as he did, he pops Springs. If the linebacker stays back, Danny White could have ran the ball.
That was one of those plays where they pull linemen in opposite directions. That time Cooper went to the left and the rest of them went to the right. The handoff is to Dorsett. He is down inside the Ram 40 to about the 38 before Carl Eckern takes him down. By the way, Tony Hill has caught 7 passes. That's in the first half alone, and that ties a Dallas playoff record.
Watch, here's Doug Cosby. He's going to come and trap in the middle. Here he is right here. See, he's coming and getting the trap that's going to free Dorsett. Watch him here. They get traps from everywhere. You see, he starts in there for the smack. He leads up on the linebacker, and Dorsett comes in behind him.
2nd down and 4, and White gets it outside to Butch Johnson, and Butch Johnson motioning to his blockers. Didn't see George Andrews coming. Andrews has laid a couple of tough hits on Butch Johnson today. Short of a first down by about a yard. 3rd and 1.
You know, we talk about confidence and emotion and those types of things, and they're easy to talk about, but that doesn't mean that it always takes within a team. And you need plays. Ultimately, eventually, you have to do it on the field. I think they got some confidence from the Rams, and I think they got some more from Ron Fellows on that kickoff return.
Short yardage, 3rd and 1. Causey in motion, and this is Dorsett. He has the first down. Nolan Cromwell led the Ram defense, but Dorsett nevertheless got the first down. That's that short yardage setup where Phil Posderick, the backup tackle, moves inside, and Donovan goes to tight end. And now Donovan is out of the game, and Posderick stays.
Well, Donovan has to go out of the game because he moves from ineligible receiver to eligible. Then he can't move back to ineligible until he goes out for one play. He'll be in the next play.
So Posderick plays this one. It's a counter play to Dorsett, and Dorsett again twirls inside the 25. Jim Collins made the stop.
I'll tell you, it's another good block, this time by Doug Cosby. He just starts in there, and he's going to come into the picture. Then he's going to lead right up in here. Dorsett, a little counter move, and he'll come right in here behind Cosby. Now watch Doug Cosby come there. He leads on the linebacker right there. You see the hole he gets for Dorsett? Dorsett just runs right inside of Cosby.
Good job by Doug. 2nd down and 3. Dorsett got 7. They go with 2 tight ends. They gave again to Dorsett, who almost lost the ball. Reggie Doss hit him shy of a first down. It's going to be 3rd and about 2.
Well, that's what a defensive end has to do, what Reggie Doss just did there. The Cowboys were working the inside run. So you don't have to keep your ends outside. So they can come down and start pinching and closing that inside.
Dorsett hit hard, holding his stomach, left the game, and Timmy Newsom has taken his place. So it's Springs and Newsom. They don't go to the spread. Vital throw. Intended for Cosby, knocked away by Leroy Irvin. And Septien is already on the field.
I'll tell you, and that's good coverage by Leroy Irvin, because that would have been a first down. And again, we've talked about this before. On that 3rd and 3 or 4 or 5, Doug Cosby is really Danny White's favorite receiver because he's big. He's 6'6". He can watch him all the way, which he did on that play. Leroy Irvin watched Cosby all the way.
So Septien, number 1, will try from 42 yards out with Glenn Carano holding. Raphael's had a good year. Got it. So for the first time today, with 11:01 remaining 3rd quarter, the Cowboys take the lead, 10-7 over the Rams. The man from whom you just heard just converted from 42 yards out to give the Cowboys the lead for the first time today. Septien will kick off now. Good kick. Henry Eller at the 1. Cowboys down quickly. Everson Walls and Bill Bates down. Walls knocked him out of bounds, and Bates applied the pressure. The Rams, first half possessions. The first time they got it, they started at their own 15 and took it the length of the field, 85 yards, as a matter of fact. And you can see what happened to him the rest of the time. Only Dorsett has a bruised hand, but he should be able to continue. He's got on his warm gloves. 1st and 10. Rams operating from their own 21-yard line. Vince Ferragamo appears to be changing plays. They go again on quick count. They give to Dickerson. Chased by Harvey Martin. He gets away from Hardy, but enough to get him out of bounds by Michael Downs and Bob Brunig. Maybe a yard.
That's one of the defensive plays against the run that will really please Tom Landry, Ernie Staudtner, the defensive staff, because that's the way the flex is supposed to be played, where everyone is straight down the line. There's no cut up. You can't get to the outside. You can't turn up, nor can you cut back against the grain. They had the whole thing right down the line of scrimmage.
They give Dickerson 2, so it's 2nd and 8. They have Farmer and Preston Denard both lined up to the right side. That's Denard in motion. Ferragamo back to throw. To Dickerson. Cut down by Everson Wall. Not a fumble.
Ferragamo's pass complete to Eric Dickerson. He was picked up by Everson Wall.
You know, one of the tough things to do against the Cowboys is throw to your right. Offensively, your right. Because Too Tall Jones is over on that side, and even when he gets blocked, he has that timing thing where he can jump up, and you always have to throw. When you throw to your right, you always have to throw around Too Tall.
Remember what we were talking about at the half. Cowboys are now with the extra defensive backs in. They had blitzed Clinkscale earlier. This time it doesn't look like they'll do it. Ferragamo back to throw. Pass is caught by Barber, the tight end, of a Ram first down. No blitz by Dallas. 9-yard gain, good enough for a first.
I'm really surprised at that. I've always had the philosophy that if you do something and they don't pick it up, you continue to do it until they stop you. Now, they had not picked up that blitz from the right side there by Clinkscale. This time they didn't do it. The Rams picked up everything, completed the pass to Mike Barber, and got the first down. I always believe that thing. You stay with it until they make you stop it.
Does make sense. Rams have it at the 35, their own. Fake to Dickerson. Ferragamo under pressure again. Pass is caught by George Farmer, and what a catch. Covered by Everson Walls, but Ferragamo, great composure, hanging in there and getting the ball to Farmer.
I'll tell you, and he was able to do that by a little roll, but watch George Farmer out there. This is good coverage. Everson Walls has him. You see, he pushes him to the outside. Now he's waiting for the inside cut. He runs with him. Farmer keeps going. Now Walls extends out there, but Farmer caught the ball just by working back right there at the end.
First down, Rams now in Dallas territory. The Cowboy 47, Mike Booman in front of Dickerson. They go to Dickerson. Dickerson hammered as he got to the 45 by Anthony Dickerson, the first man to hit him.
Anthony Dickerson, John Dutton, and Randy White.
Eric Dickerson saying, boy, those guys hit hard.
Jeff Kemp
A gain of 2 yards.
calling the signals over on the sideline. Second down and 7 or 8. Clock running with 8 minutes left to play.
You don't see that Randy White wearing any long underwear. You see
No.
that? Those bare arms out there come ready to play. Down there in the pitch, you don't get cold when you got a lot of emotions going through those veins.
Ferragamo intended for Dickerson under heavy pressure by Anthony Dickerson. He just threw it up in the air to keep from being sacked. That's one thing he is very, very good at.
You know, Anthony Dickerson came the same way that Clinkscale's been coming from this right side here. Watch him. Here he comes, 51 right there, you see, between the guard and the tackle. The tackle blocks out on offense, the guard blocks in, and that blitz hole there on that weak side has been open all day. It'll be interesting to see if the Cowboys go back to it with Clinkscale on this play. I would think they would, or should.
It's 3rd and long, and here comes Clinkscale scrolling up, this time to the outside. After Ferragamo. Pass interference is going to be called against the Cowboys. It's Dennis Thurman. It was Preston Denard. Now they're saying maybe it's offensive interference.
I think it is offensive. Yep. I think Preston Denard on that play pushed Dennis Thurman, although they did blitz Clinkscale and they didn't pick it up. Now watch him. He's the inside guy here. There's Thurman, 32. He got his hand up on him. I didn't see Denard push Thurman. I did see Thurman push Denard.
Number 88, offense, declined, fourth down.
I must have missed something there.
I must have, too. It is declined, however.
I thought Thurman pushed Denard, didn't you?
What it looked like.
Huh, interesting.
Gary Allen is the
Misko standing back at the 40. Gary Allen back at the Dallas 10. Rams do a lot of pointing and motioning as Gooman looks to see if Misko is ready. Good high kick, and Allen goes up with the fair catch signal. Tough chance. Rams got it, I think. The Rams come up with a turnover. No, Dallas has it. The Rams are hopping mad. A 29-yard punt bobbled by Allen, and John Robinson is also upset. And they're still arguing.
The officials are in a conference now. I think they've changed it, Pat. They're going to give it to the Rams.
It was Rams, legal recovery this way.
John Robinson was out on the field. Gordon McCarter said, I was wrong, and the ball goes this way. Let's watch.
It looked like he was given a fair signal, a fair catch signal. He did. He dropped the ball, and the Rams recover it right there. You can see that they have it. I don't know why they gave it to the Cowboys initially.
Mike Wiltshire is the man who made the recovery, number 94. And so the Rams get the first turnover of the game and take over at the Dallas 16. Cowboys leading by the score of 10-7, but the Rams back in business. Dickerson up close to Ferragamo again. He blocks. Touchdown. Preston Denard from Ferragamo. Dennis Thurman was the defender, but the Rams moved back in front.
Well, the Rams know that the Cowboys play man-to-man defense. So what they want to do, they put Dickerson up there, say, give me protection. Then they let Denard run a corner pattern. John Robinson said the two things we can do, we can run post patterns and corner patterns. Now here's a corner pattern. Watch Denard. Outside guy, starts inside on Thurman. He sells him on the post. Great move to the inside, then goes back out to the corner, and that throw was about as perfect as you can get.
It really was. Preston Denard puts the Rams back in front. Boy, great pass by Ferragamo.
He really sold him on that post move.
That was a good move. Lansford makes it Rams 14, Cowboys 10. 7:23 left to play. Third quarter.
See, again, the Cowboys are playing man-to-man. Let's watch that play again. And we'll see Denard here. He's still getting his congratulations. We're going to see the throw here. We'll see the pass protection. Now they pick up the blitz. Finally, that thing, Dickerson there, they got him. But he really sold Thurman, and that's why he beat him so much. Thurman thought that he was going inside, and he went out.
Here's John Robinson's reaction. Very happy, as you would expect. And the Rams lead by 4. Reason to be happy right now. Catching that touchdown pass from Ferragamo, and the Rams recapture the lead, 14-10. Lansford's kick is short. Fellows. It's Springs, not Fellows. Ron Springs up to about the 32-yard line.
Let's watch the touchdown one more time here. But the thing that makes it is the fake of the post. Now watch Denard as he comes down here. Watch right there. You see the move he made inside? That held Thurman. Then he cuts back to the outside. And again, he gets a perfect throw. But he sold Thurman on the post. Thurman says he's going to the post. He's going to the post. Denard says, nope, I'm going to the corner.
The turnovers. Look at this. And that Ram touchdown that Denard just scored was set up by a turnover. Look what happened to the Cowboys in the first 14 games, first 13 games, and then the last 3. First down, Dallas. Pitches back to Dorsett. Dorsett tries to cut back inside. It's Meisner But Youngblood did a good job of stringing it out.
Again, that's the real defense. You need someone to string it out. Then the nose tackle. See him? Watch Meisner. He's there. He takes on the center. Rafferty comes right down the line, stays inside. He stays inside, so there's no cutback. Dorsett starts to cut back, and the nose tackle is right there waiting for it. That's two pit guys, huh? Meisner against Dorsett.
2nd down and 9 with just over 6.5 minutes left to play. 3rd quarter. Rams leading 14-10. White. Tony Hill. That's his 8th reception of the day. Eric Harris, the tackler, 16 yards, and Tony Hill has a new Dallas playoff record with 8 catches. He had shared that record of 7 with Preston Pearson, Drew Pearson, Timmy Newsom, and Billy Parks. 1st down, Cowboys their own 49. Call it the 55 left to play in the 3rd quarter. Rams up 14-10. There's the book on Tony Hill. Fake to Spring. Complete to Dorsett. And Dorsett got maybe 4, perhaps more than that. Jim Collins made the tackle. As White faked to Springs and then hit Dorsett.
I think what they were trying to do is just use that as a run, that type of thing, that quick screen out there, tackle, pull, boom, you get your halfback, hit him outside, try and get him up the field. Rams are playing pretty good defense.
Yes, they are.
They really are. They're playing a team defense. You know, they don't have a dominating player on that team, one guy that's going to take over, but they play pretty well as a team, as a group.
2nd down, and White will try to throw. Tony Hill dropped it. It is incomplete. He was juggling as he went out of bounds. Eric Harris was the defender.
I tell you, they're working over there on Eric Harris with Tony Hill. He's been catching a lot of things in front of him. Now Eric Harris looks like he's starting to tighten up a little. You see, and he's able to get a hand in there. But you know, Tony Hill did catch that ball. I don't know if he had both feet. That didn't look like a bobble to me. That official was going like that, boom, 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 bobble.
The official up at the top of the picture looked a long time.
Let's see that right there. Ah, he caught that ball. Didn't he?
He is still scrambling for it at the end. I don't think he had it, really. After we looked at it again, here comes the Rams on a blitz. That's Butch Johnson. White gets the ball to him at the Ram 34. Johnny Johnson made the stop. 12 yards, however, and another Dallas 1st down. Rams 14, Cowboys 10. Clock continues to run. 4:40 left, 3rd quarter.
You know, I think Butch Johnson may be the only receiver that's not wearing gloves today. At least to the Cowboys, all the other guys are wearing gloves. All Butch is going out there raw hands.
You can catch it better with raw hands, I'm convinced.
I am too, because that's the way you practice all the time.
1st down, Cowboys at the Ram 34. Los Angeles leading 14-10. Here comes the blitz on White. He stays on his feet and now goes down. Mel Owens came around the outside. That's the 2nd sack of Danny White, and nobody picked him up.
You know, that's one thing. The Rams don't blitz a lot. So I think what happens is sometimes the team gets in and they say, well, they aren't going to blitz. Then you bring an outside guy like Mel Owens from the top of the screen. He'll come back in right here, and no one picks him up. They don't get him blocked because they don't expect him to come.
They double-teamed Youngblood, and nobody blocked Mel Owens. They had Richards and Jim Cooper on Youngblood, and Owens was loose. 2 sacks apiece. It's 2nd down and long. White goes back. No blitz this time. Picked off. Jim Collins comes up with the interception for the Rams. Turnover number 2.
I'll tell you, that's just a zone defense. 2 inside linebackers, Eckern and Collins. They'll just drop deep. They aren't playing man-to-man, just dropping deep and watching the quarterback. Here's Collins. He's number 50. See, now he's not playing anyone. He's just coming straight back, facing the quarterback. He's watching Danny White's eyes. He sees him pump. He just steps right in front of Cosby. Boom, he gets the ball. Go the other way.
Danny White never looked at Jim Collins, and he comes up with the second Ram turnover. They lead by 4. Oh, those dreaded turnovers. Dallas has 2. The Rams have none today. Rams just got their second with that interception. And look at this. Last 3 games, they are -9. It's hard to be in the playoffs or stay in the playoffs with that kind of reading. 1st and 10 Rams, their own 45. Ferragamo back to Dickerson. They've got him hemmed up at the pass. It is Bob Brunig and Bill Bates and Randy White who converge after Dickerson got maybe 2 yards. Mike Barber, the tight end, still down. John Robertson hustling down to check on how he's doing. I think John Robinson, if you visit with him several times, and of course you know him, John, for a long time, has got this game in pretty proper perspective.
I think he has the whole thing. You know, he's a first-year NFL coach, and he knows what has to be done, and he's doing it. Right there, we can see that Barber's going down there. Watch that. He gets kicked in the head as he's down on the ground. He's up and off the field now.
Still a little bit stunned, but he's sitting down over on the Ram bench and seems to be okay. David Hill has taken his place at tight end. It's Gooman and Dickerson in the backfield, and Gooman in motion. Ferragamo going to throw. Just gets rid of it. Has a man open. Can't handle it. It's Preston Denard, who was wide open, and what a move he put on.
I'll tell you, he had Dennis Thurman, I think it was, just backing up there. Watch it here. We'll see him. He's in the outside guy. Now watch Thurman. He just keeps running. Thurman thinks it's up, it's up, it's up. He's going deep. Look at him. He just keeps running. Denard stops. He's the only guy in the picture. Oh, and he drops the ball. You know why? He caught it inside, too close to his body, and it hit his shoulder pads and bounced out. He threw it up in the air, and the official caught it.
Disgusted about that. 3rd and long, 3rd and 7. 2:54 left to play, 3rd quarter. Cowboys not showing blitz. Herman comes with Denard again. Incomplete as Bates is with Hill, and there's a penalty marker down. It's going to be interference call against Bates.
Pass interference. Number 40 on the defense. 1st down.
Boy, that's a tough thing for a defender. You know, they're man-to-man as the Cowboys are. We see 40 here, Bill Bates. He's covering David Hill. Now watch, Hill starts to the outside, and the thing is he can't touch him before the ball gets there. I don't know.
That's another pretty close one.
I know. That looked like pretty good coverage to me.
1st down Rams, the Dallas 42. Clock stopped. 2:50 on that penalty. 2:50 left, 3rd quarter. Rams 14. Cowboys 10. Ferragamo to Dickerson. Dickerson nudges for 2 or 3, and there's a little exchange going on between Randy White and someone. Kent Hill, I suppose.
I think Bill Bates was in there and started it.
Probably.
I think he did. I think he started it, and then Randy White got in there. What did they used to call Bill Bates in the 6th grade?
The bully of the schoolyard. No penalty flags are dropped on this one, however. The clock does run. Continues now with 2:25 left to play, 3rd quarter. Los Angeles 14, the Cowboys 10. Rams win, they go to Washington. Cowboys win, they go to San Francisco. Dickerson the lone setback. Give this to Dickerson. Dickerson shakes one tackle. Bates stays with his feet and takes him down.
And that was the reason that Tom Landry started Bill Bates today. He just said in the secondary we weren't doing it. He said, and we have to now. What the Rams are trying to do is get Dickerson into that secondary and have him miss, but Bates made the tackle.
Short yardage for the Rams. Barber comes back. David Hill stays, and so does James McDonald, number 83. The ex-basketball player who they have high hopes for. Think they might be up to something here? Like a pass, a play pass?
I would think so.
They give back to Dickerson. He has the first down. Dickerson knocked out of bounds by Downs, but Dickerson gets down to the 15, and the Rams do get the first down.
Because if you have a guy like Eric Dickerson, you don't need stuff like passes and tricks and stuff. And John Robinson probably said, the last time I had a short yardage, I tried that stuff. This time, I'm going to give it to my best running back. I'm going to let him run the ball, pull my center out there, pull some other guys out there, let him get around that corner for a first down.
18 carries, 104 yards for Dickerson.
And someone had to block Bates, and watch it right there. It's Mike Gooman. That's a heck of a collision. That was a 72 on the collision chart.
Up close to Ferragamo is Redden. That usually means he's going to throw it. He does. Pass is incomplete. Harrison Walls was covering George Farmer. Farmer thought he had it. Incomplete, however.
I'll tell you, I think Ferragamo showed the strength of his arm on that play. That thing was like it was shot out of a rifle. Boom. Didn't stay in the air very long.
Second and 10, a first down incompletion. On first down now, Ferragamo is 5 out of 10. 2 of them, however, have been for touchdowns. It's Redden back behind Ferragamo. The pitch is back to Redden. He is cut down after a gain of a couple by Harvey Martin and Randy White.
Well, John, get Eric Dickerson back in there. I don't think you come all the way down. There you go. Okay.
Here comes Dickerson.
I don't think you go all the way down the field there and then get in position to score and have him watching with mittens on.
He's without mittens at the moment. Big Jackie Slater, number 78. Tom Landry. You know, I wouldn't have thought he would wear that coat. That's the same coat he wore last year in Washington when the Redskins eliminated Dallas in the NFC Championship game. This goes to show you he's not very superstitious, doesn't it?
He doesn't think about things like that.
Yeah. Probably why he's lasted so long. That's Hill in motion, and this is Ferragamo quickly. They got the first down inside the Dallas 5. It's Preston Denard again. This goes back to that other pass when he scored a touchdown.
Here it is right here. It's a slant. I think it's going to be, here it is right here. He's on the outside now. This is Ron Fellows out there playing. He's going to start in just right down the line. Boom, hit him right there. But there was a penalty on the play. I think it was one of those deals where there's a penalty on both sides or something, huh?
Must be. So it'll be first and goal for the Rams at the 3.
No fouls occurred after the play was over. We've got the first down, goal to go. Penalties off.
Hara and Smirek are the 2 number 60s involved.
That's right.
First down.
That's that dumb penalty, you know, where they get in a fight and they just give them penalties against both sides and nothing happens. That's the dumbest thing they do, I think.
Newman and Dickerson are the 2 backs. It's first and goal, Rams. The Cowboy 3. Flag is down again as Dickerson walks into the end zone.
Dickerson carries into the end zone. Now right flag is down.
That was when they blew the whistle before the ball was snapped.
Number 60 on the up.
Hara pulled early.
Gee, that's a bad time for Harry. He had to fight on the play before, and then he wants to get out there early. He is upset. Dennis Hare is one of those emotional guys. Watch him 60 in here. We can see him right there. Dennis, you can't move. Oh, he starts to pull. He said he had to go to the left. He started before the ball was snapped.
So it's still first down back at the 8 now with 9 seconds to play. 3rd quarter.
Boy, is he upset with himself. You know, he knows that 9-year veterans don't do those types of things.
He is one of the real leaders of the Ram offensive line, particularly. The whole team, for that matter. 9 seconds left to play. 3rd quarter. Dickerson's the deep back to give to Dickerson. Michael Downs came up to fill the hole quickly. That's a good force by Downs.
Eric Dickerson, he was stopped on the play by Anthony Dickerson and Michael Downs.
That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Rams 14, the Cowboys 10. We'll return to Texas Stadium after this word from your local station. Texas Stadium, where the Rams have it 2nd and goal from the 8. John Robinson. Rams leading 14-10. Dickerson back to Ferragamo. It's Denard in motion, and Ferragamo to throw. Has some time and fires. Farmer. Touchdown. What a catch by Farmer, and another great throw by Ferragamo.
I'll tell you, George Farmer just stopped, and he was falling down. And Ferragamo drilled it right into him as he was falling. He was running that end line in the back of the end zone. He just stopped and started to fall down. Let's see if we can pick it up here. Here we see from here, pretty good pass protection. Good job by the offensive line. Ferragamo can pump, he can look. He sees Farmer in the background. You see Farmer stop, starts to fall down, catches the ball. He threw it a little behind him.
Lansford for the extra point now with Nolan Cromwell holding. Rams have taken command. 21-10 in a very quiet Texas Stadium.
John Robinson was telling us that George Farmer may be the most improved player on his team this year. Now watch him. He's going to take the end line, get up on the back line, and now start running straight across. He's open there. The ball's thrown a little behind. He's falling down, catching the ball. That was a great throw and a great catch.
Between the two safety men, Downs and Bates. And a very happy John Robinson as the Rams now lead 21-10 over the Cowboys, and we're in the fourth quarter. Turnovers will eat you up.
Especially if you're playing a good team that when you turn the ball over, they take it and score points with it. And that's what the Rams have just done.
The last two turnovers. Lansford kicks to Fellows. Fellows from the 12. It's cut down at just outside the 20 as the Rams do a good job again. Ivory Sully is down there quickly to take him down.
I think right now, Pat, that this could be the biggest series for the Dallas Cowboys right now. 21-10, they're down. I think if they can move the ball down the field, get a score, get back in this thing, then I think things could possibly go their way. I think if they sputter here, they could be in trouble. It could be the end of their season.
Could very well be. 14:46 left to play in the game, so still plenty of time. Tony Dorsett is the lone setback, and now he moves. On a draw play, it is Dorsett. To the 25 as Nolan Cromwell came up with a good tackle.
Tackle on the play made by number 21.
That's a draw play. Now, what they do, now watch Jack Youngblood here. See, they show pass. They get him up the field. Then they come in and they trap him with Herbert Scott, and Dorsett just runs right inside him. See, they influence, make him think it's pass, pull the offside guard, Scott. He kicks him out. Boom, inside.
Only 4 yards, however. So make it 2nd and 6. Cowboys operating from their own 26. White back to throw. Right through the hands of Cosby. Couldn't quite get turned around.
Danny White's pass intended for Doug Cosby, incomplete. 3rd down, 6.
Now look what the Ram defense has done. The average and what they've done today. Led by Meisner and Youngblood and Reggie Doss. Those 3 guys up front. Danny White operates out of the shotgun, the spread formation. He's 7 out of 11 from this formation. He has Newsom. And Newsom will have the Dallas first down. He's hit by Leroy Irvin, but Newsom hangs on. 10-yard gain, and they move the sticks. Clock continues to run, however, with 13:45 left to play. A lot of concern on that bench.
I'll tell you, they just haven't been the same since that Redskin game. I think, they went in there sky high, boom, they got everything deflated, and I don't think they've recovered from that game yet.
It certainly doesn't look like it. Of course, the 49er game was devastating, but it was really the Redskin game that did it. Here's White. He gets it out to Springs. Springs goes to the 40, maybe 41. Carl Eckern and Nolan Cromwell. Yeah, you were saying before that the Rams don't really have a dominating person on that defense, but they have played well.
Well, that's one thing that they wanted to do. And John Robinson talked about that. When he took over the job, he says, we want more movement by our defense. He had the feeling that the Ram defense was just kind of standing around and waiting for things to happen. He said, we want movement. And that's what they're getting.
That's Tom Rafferty, the center for the Cowboys, who limps off. Glenn Titensor has taken his place. 2nd down and 5 from the 41-yard line. Titensor, of course, with the Cowboys coming from behind, will have to apparently snap the ball from the spread formation, and I don't know how good he is at that. Rams show blitz. Both those inside linebackers up quickly. White has them back out now, and now they give to Dorsett, and Dorsett has nothing. Reggie Doss puts the clamps on Tony.
I'll tell you, that Reggie Doss is playing a heck of a game. He's a real solid player over there, both as a pass rusher and playing against the run. The Cowboys were trying to get that thing. Watch on the right side of the screen here. See, they get Cosby coming in on the lead, and then Doss plays off the tackle. Donovan, he just picked him up. You see that? He just took his shoulder pads, just threw him to the ground, and then was right there for Dorsett.
Rafferty is back in the game after a one-play vacation, by the way. Donnelly in motion. Here come the Rams, and now too much time. The 30-second clock ran out. The Cowboys will lose 5.
I'll tell you, that's one of the problems the Cowboys have had, getting that play in and getting it off within the 30-second count.
They walk off the 5.
Poor old Rafferty on that play was saying, what the heck did I come back for? Did you see that?
D-Land gain. Number 11, the quarterback. Still 3rd down.
Watch Tom Rafferty, the center. He comes in there, and then Jeter starts off. Now the whistle's blowing, and Jeter just takes him right into the backfield, into the referee, Youngblood, the whole bunch of them.
It was a heated exchange. That's Tony Hill, and Tony Hill got just enough for a Cowboy first down in front of Leroy Irvin. 9 catches for 116 yards for Tony Hill. And they stopped the clock with 11:54 left to play.
I think the Cowboys had that same feeling. We're down 21-10. We have to do something now. We have to get some momentum, some life, something back. And they look like they're starting on that.
Jack Youngblood. A long, rewarding career for him. Quite regular formation this time. In the Dallas 47, throwing on almost every down he has to. Drew Pearson at the Ram 35. First down, Cowboys. Nolan Cromwell made the hit that brought Pearson down.
You don't know if the Rams defense, after they got this lead, have started to loosen up, but I have the feeling that they might. That their zones are a little looser, that they're giving the receivers a little more room in there. That one doesn't look bad there because they sure got there quickly, but from this whole drive, I thought maybe everything kind of loosened up a little, and the Cowboys are taking advantage of it.
The first catch of the day by Drew Pearson. Rams leading 21-10. First down, Cowboys, Ram 34. White on a draw play. Gets to Dorsett. Dorsett to the 22. Mel Owens tripped him up. Enough for another Cowboy first down. 11 yards for Tony. 16 carries, 57 on the day.
This is a heck of a play call here. They've been throwing all the time, as you said, throwing on every down. So now they give him a draw play. They let him rush, get the line up there, then boom, they turn him out and pop Tony Dorsett through on a draw.
Rafferty got the good block on Meisner. Dorsett took advantage of it. On first down. Pass is picked off, intended for Butch Johnson. Leroy Irvin comes out of there with it and still got it, and he might go. Irvin got only to outrun Jim Cooper. Springs chasing, and Springs takes him down from behind at the 3-yard line. Leroy Irvin, and the Rams are in command. 94 yards he went.
I'll tell you, that was a combination of a bad throw. It was thrown behind Butch Johnson and a good play by Leroy Irvin, who got a good jump on it. Watch it here. Here's Butch Johnson, he's the outside guy. He's going to run an inside move in here in the post. Now watch, Irvin starts in, but the ball's thrown behind Johnson. See, so it was a bad throw behind, but a good jump by Irvin, and then he takes up the field, and he darn near runs it back 100 yards.
Look what a job is done here by Ron Springs. That's Cooper who can't catch him. Now here comes Springs.
I'll tell you, he went for the ball, too. You know, that thing could have popped out of there. He could have saved that.
Nevertheless, it's first and goal Rams at the Cowboy 3.5. The turnovers again. That's the third by the Cowboys, and the Rams in a position to take advantage of another one. Ferragamo. Intended for Barber, and it's incomplete. Jeff Rohr made the dive at the last minute to knock it away from Barber. The Rams were hoping for pass interference, but it didn't happen. John Robinson has to be pretty pleased about what's happening right now. Now you go to Dickerson.
I would think so. That's you know, that looks like the type of thing that the Rams do. They play fake to foul them up. If you don't, then just come back and give it to Eric Dickerson.
To Dickerson. He cuts back inside the 2 and doesn't make it.
He would have made it, though, Pat, had he not been tripped, because he had a hole there. He had his shoulder square, and he was ready to go. Let's watch it from here. He'll go to the left here. I watch him square his shoulders, make the cut. You see, he has it right there, but he just tripped. Had he not tripped, he had that shot to the goal line.
He was in if he didn't trip. They're still at the 3, and it's third and goal from that point. The Rams 21, the Cowboys 10. Would they settle for 3? I'm sure they would. They'll take the big one. Ferragamo in the corner, over the head of David Hill. The Dallas defender had fallen down, and Ferragamo, under pressure from Clinkscale and Huther, just couldn't quite get it there.
He had David Hill wide open, but as you said, Clinkscale again came on the blitz. He was free, and Ferragamo was just throwing the ball away, and in throwing the ball away, he almost threw a touchdown. You know, but that's the place to throw that ball, though. You know, is it the deep part of the corner? Because either your guy gets it. You see the guy fall down? There's David Hill. He's wide open, but Ferragamo's throwing it to that second pylon.
This will be Lansford from 20 yards out with Nolan Trumwell holding. Lansford gets it. And turnovers again. 17 points the Rams have gotten from those turnovers, and they lead the Cowboys 24-10 with 9:07 left to play. It will be indeed for him and the rest of his teammates a happy holiday, unless something drastic happens.
Yeah, it's nice to see those offensive linemen in there, those centers and stuff saying happy holiday. And we get the running back. You know, they're nice, but I got those guys right there in the middle of things. Make it happen.
Fellows can't go anywhere. Ivory Sully, who's made just about every tackle for the Rams on kickoffs, makes another one. much of a reception now for Danny White and the Dallas offense as they come back out. By the way, that 94-yard interception return by Leroy Irvin is the longest in NFC playoff history. The longest in an NFL playoff history was 98 yards by Darrell Ray of the Jets against Cincinnati last year. Here's White back to throw. Gets it out to Dorsett, and Dorsett can only get to about the 28. Jim Collins right there. They're not going to beat him with passes like that.
Well, they aren't, because they have over 8 minutes left. But again, they have to be thinking in terms of 2 scores. You know, they're not going to get one. They have to get one and then get the ball back and get another one. So that's a totally different type of thinking.
So it'll be 2nd and 5 for the Cowboys, their own 29-yard line. The Rams leading 24-10, and White is back to throw. Gets it out to Dorsett. Herbert Scott in front of him. Mel Owens the tackler, but Dorsett got enough for the first down, I believe. Yes, he did.
I'll tell you, Jack Youngblood had a heck of a pass rush on that thing, and Jim Cooper held him right in front of the referee. Let's see if we can watch Youngblood here. He's going to take an inside move on Cooper, 61. Look, he starts now, he goes inside. I watched Cooper. No, he just blocked him down below. That was okay. It looked like he grabbed him down.
He rolled on him at the right time.
Yeah.
Youngblood looking into that backfield. First down, Dallas, and White goes back to throw. This is Billy Joe Dupree in his first reception of the day for about 9. Carl Eckern made the stop. It could be the last game. Billy Joe Dupree hasn't really definitely announced that he is quitting, but after 11 years, he says he might.
I'll tell you, in the NFL and professional football, miss the types of guys Billy Joe Dupree is. I mean, he's one of those guys that has not only been a fine player for the Cowboys, but gives so much back. You know, he's one of those community-type guys, and they're the special ones that you really miss.
White. Cosby to the Ram 35. Stopped by Eric Harris. 21-yard gain as White is on target to Cosby.
Again, I don't think the Rams can loosen up too much. I think they have to keep the same type of pressure. Maybe bring a linebacker once in a while, because they're getting pretty good pass protection here, giving Danny White time, and then his receivers can work against that loose zone. I think that there's too much time for them not to mix it up.
The time being 6.5 minutes left to play. Cowboy first down at the Ram 34. Los Angeles leading 24-10. Here's White back again. Looks at Dorsett. Goes for Tony Hill. Incomplete after a Walinda juggling act in the end zone. Eric Harris back there.
I'll tell you, Tony Hill was double covered on that one because Eric Harris was there, but so was Johnny Johnson. You see Johnny Johnson coming here. Almost had the interception. Eric Harris did. They had him inside out. He got the ball at his highest point, had it in his hands, and just bobbled it away. That was good coverage.
Excellent. So it's 2nd down and 10. Hill goes out. Pearson goes out. So the wide receivers for Dallas are Butch Johnson on the left and Doug Donnelly on the right. Donnelly can run. They give him a draw play to Dorsett, and he gets nothing. He had no room to run. Carl Eckern tripped him up. Reggie Doss got a hand on him. Crowd unhappy with that play call.
Well, what the Ram ends are doing now on those draws is they're taking inside or pinch moves, and that's what we saw Youngblood do earlier, and Reggie Doss just did on that play.
So it'll be 3rd down and 8. Clock running because of the rushing play. 5:40 left to play. Springs and Newsom.
Cowboys have 2 downs.
Big play. From the spread. He has time. Pass is in the air and picked off again by the Rams. Mel Owens comes up with this interception on the ricochet, and that could just about do it.
Tom Landry said last night, he said, we can't live with those turnovers. He was prophetic. They're getting the same thing. He said, we just can't have that. Of course, you never can have that. That's obvious.
4 turnovers now, and here's the interception.
Well, it's tipped before it's intercepted. Good play. Goes up once, the old volleyball thing, catch it at its highest point.
So the Rams have it now. They lead by 14.
An official timeout.
The Cowboys' last 4 possessions. They fumbled a punt. They have suffered 3 interceptions, and the Rams have been able to capitalize. And you got to give them a lot of credit. Turnovers are one thing. What you do with them is something else.
And then the fact that you cause them too. You know, the Ram defense has been hitting. They've been swarming. They've been around the ball all day.
So it's first down Rams at their own 20. More importantly, they lead 24-10. And let Eric Dickerson just run out the clock. This looks like what they have in mind. Michael Downs came up to make the stop. The Rams win. Of course, they go to play the Redskins. And Detroit goes to San Francisco. There's the Ram bench. Broad back of Jack Youngblood. Reggie Doss next to him. Both have played well today.
There's old Marv Gould. He's the defensive line coach. He's down there telling you, it seemed like Marv had been forever at USC, and he came to the Rams this year, and it's his first year, and he's done a heck of a job. Marv is one of those emotional guys. You know, Marv's always ready to play himself, and he always has that way of getting players to want to go play.
Back to Dickerson, who trips and is taken down again by Downs at the 20.
Eric Dickerson again.
Danny White.
At the 20-yard line. Down by
Frustrating day as he talks to Tom Landry.
You know, I'll tell you, you can just see when a quarterback loses his confidence. You can see it in his eyes.
Sure can. So that's what it looks like it will be. Dallas, I think, is taking a timeout. And so they'll have 2 left. 24-10, the Rams lead. This would seem where it all started, the downhill slide. 2 weeks ago against the Redskins, right here at Texas Stadium. 4th and 1. And in talking to Tom Landry last night, he still hasn't gotten over that play or that game.
As he said, you know, Tom's really not an emotional man, and he said that maybe we were too high emotionally, and we could just never recapture it once we lost it.
They give to Dickerson on 3rd down. He's knocked backwards and dragged and hangs on to David Hill, and now they say we've got the ball, but the Rams will have to punt.
handoff was to Eric Dickerson.
It's Dickerson, who I believe is hurt. You saw him grab David Hill on the way down. He's holding his right foot. Certainly not sure what it is, but certainly also very hopeful that it's not something that would hamper him.
Well, of course, what he's thinking here is just don't fumble. Just keep the ball. There's David Hill. You see, he runs into David Hill. I think David Hill stepped on his foot because he was starting to drag that thing, and then he fell on from behind from Randy White.
So we'll see. Don't forget, next Friday here on CBS, the Peach Bowl with North Carolina against Florida State. 2 of college football's highest scoring teams, 3 Eastern time, and then Georgetown against the running Rebels of Nevada, Las Vegas. All Friday on CBS Sports. And now Eric Dickerson is up and walked off the field. It seemed that he stepped on David Hill's foot and maybe in the process sprained his foot.
That's what it was. He stepped on his foot. Let's see if we can see it right here. See, he's coming right there. Now, right there, he stepped on David Hill's foot. Then he twisted his foot as he was going down.
We'll let you know what happened and how serious it is if we can find out as soon as we can. Misko back to kick. Allen has it bounce to him at midfield. 2 yards maybe. About 47. They're checking on Eric Dickerson's right ankle. That's what he stepped, where he stepped on David Hill. 39-yard punt by Misko, 2-yard return, 37-yard net. Cowboys quickly out of the huddle. Dickerson over on the sideline. 4:07 left to play. White to Springs. Springs into Ram territory about their 46. 4 minutes now left to play. Cowboys have 2 timeouts remaining. The Rams have all of theirs, and there's an injured Dallas player. It's Howard Richards. Kurt Peterson usually alternates with
Number 7,
Richards.
Richards is the Cowboy being kept this time.
Baldinger is their other backup offensive lineman who would take his place. The story of the Cowboy defeats of 1983. The figure on the bottom is today's rushing yardage, of course.
I think that whole thing has to do with confidence, as I said. You know, it just seems like when they can run, then everything seems to flow. Conversely, when they can't run, then they don't get any flow. I don't have the feeling that the Cowboy offense today has ever gotten in sync. Of course, the Ram defense had something to do with that because they've been a swarming, very solid defense.
They have played extremely well, no doubt about that. It's a hyper-extended arch, we are told, the problem with Eric Dickerson.
One thing, he doesn't have to put any ice on it, though, does he?
No, not today. Richards is up out on the field. Billy Joe Dupree looking on.
You know what Eric Dickerson is thinking about? He's thinking about next week. He's thinking, I got to be ready for next week and those Washington Redskins. We can finish this thing off. He's not worried about today anymore, I don't think.
Don't forget also next week, the Cotton Bowl, January the 2nd with Texas. The unbeaten Longhorns still with a dream of a national championship against once beaten Georgia, 9-1-1. Rafferty is the center. Now Richards is out and Baldinger's the guard. White under pressure, taken down by Charles DeJournay. The third sack of Danny White as the Cowboys hustle back quickly, but the clock is running. Now they stop it at 3:45. DeJournay in there quickly. White looking over to the left. Youngblood struggling back. Here comes another sack. White does get rid of the ball, but they're going to say he's in the grasp. He gets it to Dorsett. George Andrews had White.
That's one thing the Ram defense is doing now. They're keeping pressure on him. You know, they're bringing a linebacker. They're stunning their defensive line, and they're keeping pressure on this Cowboy offense, not just sitting there and letting them throw into those zones with no pass rush.
4th and 14. 4th and 17 to go. Here's White. Up in the pocket, throws for Drew Pearson, and Drew has it at the Ram 30 and hangs on. First down there for Dallas. 30-yard gain. 24-10, the Rams leading with the clock running and 2 minutes 50 seconds left to play. Less than that now.
28-yard line.
Rams take their time getting back. White. Hill lets it bounce out of bounds.
Danny White's pass intended for Tony Hill, incomplete.
Eric Harris was the defender. Billy Joe Dupree getting the word from Tom Landry now.
I'll tell you, 4th and 17, that was some play here by the Cowboys. The Rams did rush one. We can see Drew Pearson here. He's coming from the outside, keeps working in. He catches it in front of one and on the side of another one. Against that zone defense, he just worked through and found a seam or a hole in there.
That just about saved the season, or maybe for a little while.
It prolonged it.
Yes. Hill was wide right. Here's White back to throw. He has a lot of time this time and throws it out to Drew Pearson and overthrows. That'll be out of bounds. So that'll make it 3rd and 10.
White's pass intended for Drew Pearson, incomplete.
Again, they have to be thinking in terms of 2 scores. Now with a 3rd down, it See, on second down, they could have gone for the end zone. Now on third down, he has 2 downs to pick up 10 yards. So he has to get a first down, then go for the end zone, then go for the onside kick, and so on and so on.
And keep watching that clock, which says 2:34 left to play now, and the Rams up by 14 points.
And, of course, in playoffs, it's true sudden death. There's no one quarter. They just play until someone wins.
Here's White. Springs. Looks like he might be about a yard shy of the first down. Carl Eckern was the Ram tackler as the Cowboys hustle up with the clock running at 2:20 left to play.
Cowboys better watch out here on fourth down. You better make sure you have a good play, because if you don't get any more all day.
White, 30-second clock has not run down to where it's serious as yet. Fumble. And he dives forward for perhaps a first down. That's very close. The fumble on the fourth down. And the 2-minute warning will be issued now. Let's see if they got the first down.
That is a first down.
It is a first down. The Rams are asking them to measure, but the officials are saying it is enough.
Well, you know, they have that rule. It's not in the last 2 minutes yet, but now, fourth down, fumble, last 2 minutes. The only guy that can recover the fumble is the guy who fumbled it. But in this case, it was the center quarterback. Danny White did recover the fumble and did recover it for a first down.
The Rams still want things measured.
Well, it's too late now. They've already moved the sticks.
Danny White has thrown, by the way, 47 passes today, which is a Cowboy record. But the Rams are the ones that lead the scoreboard 24-10 with 2 minutes left to play. Pat Summerall, John Madden, Texas Stadium, where the Rams lead the Cowboys 24-10. The timeout situation you saw. The Rams have all of theirs. The Cowboys have 2 left. 2 minutes left to play. Danny White. Cosby has the touchdown. Now a penalty marker is down. It's going to be holding against the Cowboys. And they'll have to go to work again. Cosby holding his head.
Doug Cosby can't believe that, but it was thrown by the referee, who's marking it off here, who's behind the quarterback, and it was thrown right in that area.
Holding, number 61, offense, repeat first down.
On Cooper.
It was Jim Cooper. He had to be blocking Jack Youngblood. But watch Doug Cosby's reaction when he sees the flag. He doesn't know, he sees it now. Oh.
Can't believe it. Still first down. Now back at the 28. A minute 55 left to play. White comes out of the pocket. Chase. Ball is loose. They're saying his arm had started forward and it's incomplete. Mel Owens was chasing Danny White. Dick Nolan and Tom Landry watching that clock run down now with a minute 47 seconds left to play.
John Robinson's down there trying to calm down his players on that because they were arguing that this was a fumble. Danny White was in the grasp there, and I guess he was trying to throw the ball.
His arm did go forward. I don't know who he was trying to throw it to.
I'll tell you, there's a guy who's done a heck of a job in his first year with this team. He came in, the Rams were down. He got Eric Dickerson, brought in a bunch of new coaches, and they put a new life in this Ram team.
And they're playing like that. Tony Hill out of bounds. Incomplete. Vince Newsom was the defender back there with him, but it is incomplete. That'll bring in third down and 20. Back at the 27.
Let's watch it here and see if Tony Hill has 2 feet in. Nope, the right foot wasn't in.
Did not, does not.
Good call, good angle. We were right down there in that thing, that camera. Huh?
Big third down play now coming up. Rams pretty happy about the way things have gone today. Not so on the other side of the field. 1:41 left to play. The ball at the 27. Los Angeles 24, Dallas 10. Tony Hill down to the right. Danny White up into the pocket. Crosby at the 5 is knocked down hard by Vince Newsom, but that'll be enough for the first down as the Cowboys hustle up quickly. First and goal at the 5. 1:20 left to play now. Danny White. Newsom, the intended receiver. Johnny Johnson out there with him. White hit hard.
That was a bad play there by Danny White, because when you only have a minute left, you have to throw the ball in the end zone. It wouldn't do any good to complete the pass out there. You have to get your receivers in the end zone and throw it into the end zone, because you need to score. You have to score, onside kick, get the ball again, and score again. You can't throw short of the end zone in this situation.
51 passes thrown by White today. 31 out of 51. They have not been able to run the ball at all. Tony Hill out wide to the right. Someone jumped, and now the flags go. Rams, of course, are saying we were pulled offside. Clock is stopped. 1:10.
If I were the Cowboys, I'd decline this, because it's easier to throw.
Defense.
It's easier to throw from the 5-yard line than it is at 2.5. Gives you 2.5 more yards to have your receivers work.
I think they're going to take it.
Maybe they just give it to them.
Half the distance to the goal line.
Because they really can't run in this situation. They have to throw.
Contact foul. Middle of the defensive line. Still second down.
Second and goal at the 2. Right back to throw again. Had it to Drew Pearson, and Drew couldn't hang on. Good throw from White. It was right there. Stops it with 1:07 left to play.
And that was an example. Maybe if he had a couple more yards of depth to work, he may have caught this ball, because he has things in there. You see, and he just dropped that ball. Geez, there's no excuse for that.
That ball was there.
Yeah, he had plenty of room. Boom, it was in there. He just dropped it. Oof.
Third down now and 2 to go. 1:07 left to play. 24-10 Rams on top. Crosby stays with feet down, and there are no flags this time. Johnny Johnson, the defender. But the Rams get on the scoreboard. The Cowboys get on the scoreboard. Beg your pardon. The Rams are already there.
I'll tell you, that's the third time that Danny White threw the touchdown. It's the second one to Crosby here, and he threw one to Drew Pearson. He dropped. Here, Crosby starts here, goes out, motion left, starts upfield on Johnny Johnson, back in. He goes out, in, up, back in, touchdown. Now they have to make this extra point, then kick and get the onside kick.
Doug Crosby. The touchdown pass from White. Still 1:03 left to play. Septien gets the extra point. 51 yards. They kept it 14 plays and 3 minutes 4 seconds. Rams 24. Cowboys 17.
I'll tell you, this is going to be an interesting play here. The Cowboys, of course, will go for the onside kick. They have to, because they don't have all their timeouts left.
They only have 2.
Now the Rams will get in all their guys with good hands, and they'll all be up there in front, and there'll be a heck of a scramble for the football right here.
Coming up next, the NFL Today and the wrap-up show with Brent Musburger and Dick Vermeil. Today's highlights. This is the only game today. They'll try the onside kick almost certainly. And the Rams, as John Madden just said, have all their guys with good hands up front.
What they'll do, yeah. Up there in that front, they got a lot of 80s, 20s, 30s. You don't see any linemen there. Those guys that got tape on their hands. Talking about the Ram return team there. This is what you call, the Rams are in what they call an onside prevent. Look at all those guys. They're checking their hands, checking everything, making sure they're warmed up, loose.
Septien lining things up, looking over to his left. He has Walls and Clinkscale and Thurman and Fellows all over there.
This will be exciting.
1:03 left, and here we go. Goes out of bounds. It was touched before it went out of bounds, however. Rams can say we'll take the ball, or they can make them kick it again. Bruce Huller in there arguing. 1:03 left to play. The clock doesn't start, of course, until the ball is touched in the field of play. In this situation, the Rams 24. It was hit by Walls, I believe, before it went 10 yards. The Rams have it.
His last touch by the Rams before it went out of bounds. Rams football, 1st and 10.
Last touch by the Rams before it went out of bounds, and so the Rams take the ball.
I think Nolan Cromwell down there touched it. Let's watch the ball here. It has to go 10 yards. It hasn't gone 10 yards. It's touched by Walls there. Then I think it's Nolan Cromwell. He just punched it out of bounds. Smart play.
Batted it out of bounds, right.
Batted it out of bounds.
So the Rams take it out.
Cromwell said, what did I do? Was that good? Yeah, good.
Yeah, it was good.
You get to play next week.
That's extra good.
Wonder what the Redskins think. They've probably been watching this game.
Yeah.
They're so used to rooting against the Cowboys. I'm sure they're doing that.
I'm sure they are.
They're rooting for the team that they're going to have to play.
Ferragamo just kneels on the ball. Cromwell just knocked it out of bounds, and it was, as John said. Terry O'Neill's the executive producer. The director, senior producer, first of all, Charles Milton III, the director, as I started to say, Sandy Grossman. Joan Vetrano, the associate producer, and all the rest of our crew who do such an outstanding job. So it looks like the Rams, now with the Cowboys down to 1 timeout, will be able to run things out. All these guys that you're looking at now, the names, all spent Christmas on the road as we did.
So Vince Ferragamo will be able to kneel down one more time and then another time, because the Cowboys have one last time out.
Ferragamo does that. And so they take their last one. And those Rams are going to have a happy flight home. Don't forget, here is the situation next Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, the NFL Today, Detroit against San Francisco, 3:30 Eastern Time, and Sunday, these Rams will be at Washington, 12 noon Eastern Time, and that's where we'll be. And they have every reason to be just that happy. In the meantime, it's reevaluation time for Dallas.
Well, it is, and the Rams have an awful lot to be proud of. I mean, they started as a team. They hung together as a team.
They sure did.
Their owner, Georgia Frontiere, did a great job in hiring John Robinson, who in turn did what he had to with these guys.
Ferragamo, a winner again at Texas Stadium as he quarterbacks the Rams to a victory over Dallas. And the Rams, in addition to playing great solid defense, took advantage of turnover. And those turnovers will kill you. They always have. Just been informed that Joe Gibbs, the Washington Redskin coach, is standing by to comment on the game with Brent Musburger. And remind you one more time what will happen next week. Saturday, the NFL Today begins it. Detroit will be at San Francisco at 3:30 Eastern Time. And Sunday, the Rams at Washington at 12 noon Eastern Time. And coming up next, the NFL Today, the wrap-up show with Brent Musburger and Dick Vermeil, and highlights of today's game. The Rams 24-17 over Dallas.
Champion Washington Redskins would be next for the Los Angeles Rams. And Dick Vermeil, how about Vince Ferragamo taking advantage of those turnovers today?
He did a super job. You have to give credit to him, plus the real credit goes to their defense. They just played very well.
All right, here is the play that put the Rams ahead to stay.
Nice little post pattern over there. He had time to throw it, singled up coverage right there, threw it right where he had to, low into the outside, touchdown. Isolated, now coming back. Watch him make that move to the inside. See him sticking right there, moving to the corner, number 88, Preston Gennard, underneath Dennis Thurman for the touchdown. I wouldn't want to have to cover that guy one-on-one like that.
All right, Vince Ferragamo is standing by live now with Irv Cross, so let's return you to Dallas and Irv. Take it away with the star quarterback, Irv.
All right, a happy quarterback right now, Brett. You know, I asked him, the Rams have had trouble with turnovers all year. On a bad day in Dallas, they come up with a goose egg. Why?
Well, I think, Irv, we had a great week of practice, and we knew what we had to do. And I think if we could play mistake-free football, I think we would beat the Dallas Cowboys. And today we did it.
Well, I know you're the team doctor, Vince, so you do have a medical background with their training. How serious is Dickerson's ankle?
Well, they said it was all right. They had him taped up, ready to go in the last 2 minutes, and he was ready to play. So we just fell on the ball. That's all we had to do to win.
All right. The Ram offense has been almost non-productive the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
You threw 3 touchdown passes. What was the difference in your ball club today coming in this game?
Well, I think we were, at one point, Irv, we were one of the best teams in football inside the 30-yard line, and this last couple of weeks, we just could not put it in once we got down there. So I think today we concentrated on that a little bit more, and we got the break, and we blocked all solid. We blocked them across the board, and we had the time to throw the football.
Vince, next week, the defending Super Bowl champion Washington Redskins are on the schedule. Your reaction to that football team?
Well, we're excited. Last time we played them, we didn't play football very well against them, and I think that this week the guys will be a lot more jacked up to play, and I'll be ready too.
All right, congratulations, Vince.
Thank you.
Brent.
All right, Irv, thank you. And standing by in our Washington studios and listening to Vince Ferragamo is Joe Gibbs, the man who won a Super Bowl with the Redskins last year. And, Joe, what are your thoughts now about the rematch against the Rams? As Vince pointed out, they did not play well against you last time out.
Well, I was really impressed today, obviously, and I'm sure all the rest of our players were. We let them off early, worked out early so we could go home and watch the game, and I was very impressed with their defense. They did a great job today. Their special teams were good. We know they have a good offense, and I think that's what happened last time we played them. I don't think they played well, and we probably played as good as we can play, so I'm sure that'll be a psychological advantage for them. You know, there's good news and the bad news. We know who we're going to play now. That's good, but I'm not sure we want to play them, so it's going to be exciting.